Welcome into another Running with the Wolves podcast. My name is Gabe Anderson, doing it solo tonight. Chris will be back on the next episode, but I just wanted to do a quick post-game recap of tonight's game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, the Timberwolves come out on top 101-86. And of course, where you got to look first in this game, much better third quarter for the Wolves than last night. A catastrophic third quarter for the Wolves against Milwaukee. Tonight, no problem. They're a +7 in the third quarter and a +11 in the fourth quarter. So if you're doing the math at home, a +18 in the second half. And it really took the offense a while to get going in this one. I got to say, Brooklyn is an absolute bad team. Like that franchise is going absolutely nowhere the way it is currently constructed. They're a weird mix of Ben Simmons, Mikal Bridges, who I believe didn't have that great of a game tonight. We'll look at Mikal Bridges' shot chart, and yeah, not great. 7 for 21, but the big number, 1 for 11 from a three-point land. In fact, the Nets as a team tonight from three-point land, only 17%. You're not going to win many games when you go 6 for 35 from behind the three-point line. Meanwhile, good news for the Wolves, not great behind the three-point land, but if you're hungry tomorrow, go get yourself an Arby's beef and cheddar because they hit 12 just enough. In fact, you can thank Mike Conley for that last set, for your beef and cheddar, for that last second three that Dennis Schroeder wasn't too happy about. You can thank Mike Conley for that because they hit 12 for 38. Not a great shooting night for the Wolves, only 42%. But to their credit, 33%. That's what they held Brooklyn to. So a solid defensive night for the Wolves against a team that they really should beat. I mean, this is a Brooklyn team that just got blown out by Toronto by almost 30 points. So this is a team you got to destroy. And in the second half, they came out running and took control of this game in the fourth quarter. And of course, you got to talk about Anthony Edwards because he is just an electric player. Probably the most electric player this franchise has ever had. I would say KG was electric in different ways, but man, Ant can just take a play by himself, back someone down like we saw on one of the last possessions, do a turnaround jumper and hit it right in someone's face. He is just amazing. And to his credit, someone that we haven't been giving too much credit on the podcast recently, Kyle Anderson, since the All-Star break, has been solid. And he was good again tonight. 6 for 10 from the field, 12 points, a +6 on the nights, and also had 9 rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns good as well. 4 for 8 from three-point land, 28 points. Anthony Edwards, 11 for 23, 29 points, 8 rebounds as well, and 2 steals. Good night for Anthony Edwards, and a good night for the Timberwolves in general, except if you are a Minnesota Timberwolves guy that is coming off the bench. Naz Reid had a rough one tonight. 2 for 9 from the field, 0 for 5 from three-point land. I know he had that scary fall in I think it was the second quarter, but came back okay from that one. And just a scary moment for Naz Reid. Hopefully he can find his shot a little bit. But something good that I did see, Monte Morris hit 2 shots tonight. One of them a 3, finished with 5 points, a +7 in his 18 minutes of play. And there were a lot of times he would draw some defense into the lane and then kick it out to open shooters. I liked what we saw out of Monte. Monte continued to see his progression. Of course, steady. I would call him Steady Eddie, but his name's not Eddie. Harkening back to the great Eddie Gordado. Mike Conley, 5 for 10 from the field, 4 for 8 from behind the three-point line, 14 points. And I know that Dennis Schroeder was not happy about that last 3 that he hits, but hey, let's let bygones be bygones. And I'll even mention that Jaden McDaniels did hit a big 3 in this one. Got the 3 to go. Congratulations to him. Just keep making threes and we won't have an issue. That's all I'm going to say about Jaden McDaniels. Ben Simmons, I don't know if he got hurt or something, but only 15 minutes tonight. Of course, he missed another layup. Just not confident around the basket or shooting at all. And, it really hurt having Rudy Gobert out tonight, considering the rebound battle was totally dominated by the Brooklyn Nets. 16-6 on the offensive boards, 56-51 overall, but 16-6 on the offensive boards. That's going to happen when one of the best rebounders in the league is missing the game. And, to their credit, at halftime, the Wolves down 3 could have folded and been like, hey, we're missing one of our best players. We're going to lose, whatever. But they didn't. They came out, put the pedal to the metal, and got it done tonight. Another big stat for tonight. You'd think without Rudy Gobert, the blocks, and particularly with the Brooklyn Nets having Nick Claxton, you think the blocks would be one-sided in the favor of the Nets. Not so much. Wolves outblock the Nets by 9-2. Kind of crazy numbers considering who's in the game and who's not in the game for each side. And I will say the Wolves needed this one. You can't come out of the All-Star break where your coach is the coach of the All-Star team. Your player has 50 points and you have 2 All-Stars. You can't come out of the gates, lose on ESPN, and then lose to a bad Nets team who just looks deflated. They just fired coach Jacques Vaughn, and it doesn't look like, God bless him, but Kevin Ollie is getting much out of this team either. I will say I'm kind of torn on Cam Thomas, whether he can be a top 3 scorer on a winning team or if he's just a scorer and that's it. Kind of like a Michael Beasley kind of player. Didn't have a great game tonight. Neither, like I said, did Mikal Bridges. And if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, I mean, you're coming off years of Ben Simmons and Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and that didn't work out. You're kind of in a destitute situation. I'm not sure how they're going to turn that franchise around because I'm sorry, but Mikal Bridges is a good player. He's on a good contract, but he can't be your number 1 guy on a winning team. Maybe a scenario where Brooklyn had D'Lo and went to the playoffs and maybe get to the first round of the playoffs, but you're not making a deep run with Mikal Bridges as your number 1 option on offense. And, their number 2 option, Spencer Dinwiddie, he was shooting like 32% from the field, and he is now a Laker. But anyway, back to the Timberwolves. Great win tonight. Again, go get your beef and cheddars tomorrow. Let's just say they're on me. The beef and cheddars tomorrow are on me. Just tell Arby's that, and we'll see what they say. Anyway, this is the Running with the Wolves podcast. Of course, next game is coming up on Tuesday. Another back-to-back interesting scheduling as the Wolves take on Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs, who have lost 9 of 10 games. And then the very beat-up Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, last time we played them, Jaren Jackson Jr. went off on us. Hopefully he doesn't do that again, and hopefully the Wolves can pin down 2 wins. But we'll probably do a podcast before that. Just wanted to jump on and give you my thoughts. Anyway, this is the Running with the Wolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating and tell us what you think of the episode. And as always, go Wolves.